are live. What is up, YouTube? I am happy to be here on this Saturday morning. Anybody who's willing to join us this morning, I appreciate it. Not expecting a ton of people this morning also. And we are doing something a little bit different. This is going to be a quick little live video. I'm going to just give you my venting of the NBA predictions. I've sat down. I've assessed the board. I've assessed the situation. I know what's going on this season. I know what everyone's got rocking. I know the state of every NBA franchise headed into this season. So we're going to go through it one by one. We are going to move pretty quickly. I'm going to give you some of my best bets, some of my best locks for the year, who's going to win each division, all good stuff like that. So thank you for joining me. And if you're watching the VOD, I appreciate that as well. So let's go right into it. We're going to start in the Atlantic Division. The Boston Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champions, are plus 125 to win the division. All right, and the obvious thing here, everyone is starting to fade Boston, right? Because they have the Ime Udoka situation. If you don't know, their coach got caught possibly having an affair with one of the female staff members on the Boston Celtics. So that, in itself, is affecting this line here. I think a lot of people are starting to move the other direction, and I don't blame them, all right? I do not like Boston to win the division this year. I will get to my team that I think will win the division in a second. And most people probably know who I'm going to pick here. If you've been following the channel, you know it's not going to be one of those other teams in the Atlantic. It will be another team. And no, not the Knicks, as much as I want to be crazy. By the way, Knicks fans, we will be doing a standalone video. So if you're standing around waiting for Knicks content right now, we might touch on them briefly, but we will not do the full Knicks breakdown here. I will be doing a recorded video, not live, before the season opener, giving my Knicks breakdown for the season. However, Boston Celtics, great season last year. I was down on them last year. I stand corrected. Listen, last year I didn't think they were going to have such a hot season. With a first-year head coach coming off of Brad Stevens getting removed from being the head coach, just thought they would take some time. I could not have been more wrong. Ime Udoka got them right into the Eastern Conference Finals, got through the Eastern Conference Finals, get to the Finals, lose, but it was a valiant effort. Great season for Boston. Now everyone expects them to take that next step forward. I don't see it. Not so fast, my friend. I do not have the Boston Celtics winning the division. So Atlantic Division, my best bet. Now, if you're getting different odds, I apologize. This is what I'm looking at on my site at the moment. A lot of people are in on Toronto. I just don't see it. Everyone likes to get it down on the young team early and just have that trendy pick. And listen, the odds are really good. I'm seeing plus 1,000 here for Toronto to win the division. I just think that's throwing money out the window. If you bet on if you bet on the Raptors or the Knicks to win the Atlantic, you're throwing money out the window. Okay, and I'm a Knicks fan. I'm as big a Knicks fan as you'll find, but this is not the spot to bet the Knicks. What's up, McCreary? Thank you for joining us, bud. We're just going through the division odds right now. My best bet for the Atlantic Division is Philadelphia plus 300, and this may have gone down to win the Atlantic. I just think Philadelphia is a regular season unit. They have Harden, obviously, Embiid for full season. Tyrese Maxey looks like he's going to take another step forward this year. I think he could be on the fringe for most improved player this year, Tyrese Maxey. He could be a possible all-star selection as well. So if you could find those odds, I definitely would look into that. But best bet, Atlantic Division, Philadelphia 76ers plus 300. We move on to the Southeast Division. Now this one's tricky. Miami is pretty much a lock here if you're looking at the odds, if you're looking at the gambling lines. Miami is minus 190 to win the division. And the next team is plus 200, the Atlanta Hawks. The other three teams in the division, Charlotte, Washington, Orlando, don't really have a chance. Yeah, James Harden apparently eating less this offseason and minimal strip club action. Well, the two go hand in hand, right, Steve? I'm sure he's eating tons of wings and stuff in strip clubs. Like he probably gets the full spread when he goes to the strip club. He gets like the full presidential treatment. All right, so let me give you a quick little note in the Atlantic. In terms of futures awards odds in the Atlantic, listen, I know I'm Mr. Knicks homer. I know everyone expects me to pick Knicks stuff all the time. Most improved player, Jalen Brunson, plus 1,800, all right? If Jalen Brunson makes an all-star team this year, going off of what he was doing last year in Dallas, where he was basically a sixth man, I think he's going to have a real shout at winning Most Improved Player. Now, the Knicks have had Most Improved Players recently. We had Julius Randle 2 years ago win this award. Does it mean anything about the team? Not necessarily. I think it means the team is performing somewhat well. You're not going to win an award if your team stinks for Most Improved Player. So Jalen Brunson at plus 1,800 for Most Improved is really something I'm looking at. The other candidates right now, Most Improved is a really difficult award to pick beforehand. But if you're just looking at the situation of Brunson, where was basically a sixth man in Dallas until late in the year, then he comes to New York and he's going to be the guy. If you watched the Knicks preseason game last night, he had a huge season. So keep an eye on Brunson in the Atlantic. That's my prop bet for the Atlantic. Jalen Brunson plus 1,800 to win Most Improved Player. Philadelphia Sixers plus 300 to win the division. All right, moving on to the Southeast. Miami Heat minus 190 to win the division. Atlanta Hawks plus 200. And the rest of the division is trash. So what I will say here is you got to take Miami if you're betting on just a division winner here. I just don't see a way around it. Not a lot of value, so I probably fade this division. I do think Tyler Hero as sixth man of the year is good odds now that Jordan Poole has passed him in those odds. If Tyler Hero isn't starting for Miami, he's probably going to win this award. So Tyler Hero plus 650 to repeat as sixth man of the year is my best bet in the Southeast. Otherwise, I think it's going to be Miami again. I don't see any. Atlanta might get frisky. Now, if we just look at what Atlanta did this offseason really quickly, the Hawks have decided they moved on from Kevin Huerter, who I liked for them. They moved on from Lou Williams and Gallinari, but they did bring in DeJounte Murray. So that is the big move for Atlanta, and that is the move that everyone expects to get them to another level. I just don't see it. I don't think DeJounte and Trae Young is that good of a fit. I think physically they're very that backcourt is very. I know DeJounte is long and can guard twos, but very frail backcourt for Atlanta. And I'm not really a big fan of what I see from the rest of their team moving forward. Clint Capella, is he going to start? Are they going to start Onyewu? Questions in the Southeast. As we know, the Hawks knocked the Knicks out a couple years ago. So there's always going to be that little bit of saltiness. I used to get into it with Hawks fans before that series all the time. So no hatred here, Hawks fans. I just think second place, you probably make the playoffs, maybe the 6 seed, 5 seed. God forbid you get worse than that, then you're in big trouble. Just looking at the rest of the Southeast, anything else we like here? No, I think that's it. I think we're all right for now. But also, you could look at Paolo Banchero plus 180. I wouldn't touch Paolo to win Rookie of the Year. I just think it's a bad bet. I think he's going to probably miss a couple of games here or there. And the Magic, I don't know if he's going to have that big of a season to be able to carry them. If you're just watching for a second, you're just popping in, we appreciate it. Make sure you check out the VOD later. We're going through the entire NBA really quickly here. Not going to be the longest stream. Morning, James. Not going to be a long stream here today, guys. We're just going to run through some of our picks so we have them on record. So we have some NBA picks on record going into the season on the channel. So then if I'm an idiot, you guys can look back at me and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. If I make you some money, I make you some money. So far, recapping, I like the Sixers to win the Atlantic. And I like Jalen Brunson plus 1,800 to win Most Improved Player. And in the Southeast, I like Miami to win the division, but I am fading betting on this division. I just don't see any value on this division specifically. And I also do like Tyler Hero to repeat as sixth man of the year at plus 650. I think his only competition there is Jordan Poole of the Golden State Warriors, and I think Tyler Hero will just put up bigger numbers more consistently. All right, so we move on to the Central. The Milwaukee Bucks, right? The Milwaukee Bucks minus 250 to win the division. And you have to like those odds. Milwaukee is the runaway favorite here. Cleveland is plus 340 to win the division after adding Donovan Mitchell. So It must be tough to be Cleveland. You add Donovan Mitchell, and you're still not even the favorite to win your division. But they're a young team. They should be improving. You don't touch this division either. Milwaukee is a runaway favorite. There's no value here. But there is something that you would, in the futures game, that you would like to look at. When you look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's always something with him. The fact that Giannis is plus 525 to win the MVP, I mean, how do you not throw a couple shekels on that? The guy is a one-man wrecking crew for the Bucks, and you could tell he goes for that MVP every season. You could tell he's trying to win an MVP when he steps on the court. Although there's some questions, will Giannis miss a bunch of games? Will the Bucks be too good? Will they give him some DNPs, some rest days, some load management? That remains to be true for just about all the MVP candidates. But I think I might hitch my wagon to Giannis, or at least a little sprinkle on Giannis. What's up, Volp? What's up, James? Make sure you guys hit that like button for me. We're just doing a quick preview of the NBA season, so we have it on the channel. But yeah, Giannis to win the MVP at plus 525, I think you got to get involved. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Enough said. Looking around some of the other things to sprinkle on in this division. Let's see. Not really much when it comes to Milwaukee. It's really the Giannis show. Do you want to go for Giannis to win all the awards? Do you want Giannis to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year? Like, can you parlay those? Can you go both of those ways? I don't think you can parlay future bets anyway, so disregard that. So anyway, Central is Bucks, Southeast is Heat. And I hate to be chalky. Trust me, I'm dying to give you a value pick here. But in those two divisions, it's pretty much set in stone. The competition, mid to low level, not good enough. We will go to conference odds in a second, so stay tuned for those. Division odds, though, right now, we have Philadelphia to win the Atlantic at plus 300. We have the Miami Heat at minus 190, but we will not bet that. No value there. And same with the Milwaukee Bucks minus 250 to win the Central. No value there. So we're going to move on to the West. The Northwest Division. Denver Nuggets minus 140 to win the Northwest. And this is where we might want to get frisky. This might be where we want to get frisky. Denver Nuggets are minus 140 to win the division, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are a clear second at plus 140. So off the top of my head, Vegas thinks the Minnesota Timberwolves are definitely better. They added Rudy Gobert this offseason, so we will see the Twin Towers of Cat and Rudy Gobert operating in the same front court. We'll see how that works. There's a world where that doesn't work, but also there's a world where that is just unstoppable, and very difficult to defend. I think I'm going with Minnesota to win the Northwest, folks. I think that's my first hot take of the morning. I think we're going with the Minnesota Timberwolves to have a rise this year. Anthony Edwards is going to have a big season from Anthony Edwards. He's high on the most improved list as well for odds, just the way it works. If you take that step from young star to superstar like Anthony Edwards might this year, usually that's when guys win the most improved player award. But yeah, we're rolling with the T-Wolves to win the Northwest, plus 140. I think that's good enough odds for me to get involved here. I don't think Denver is a wrecking crew outside of Jokic. Obviously, Jokic is Jokic. You can always predict him to ball out. But yes, Minnesota to be better than Denver this year is my first hot take on the board. We move on to the Southwest Division. Memphis Grizzlies are plus 110. Dallas Mavericks are plus 125. New Orleans Pelicans are plus 400. And then Houston and San Antonio are in the rear. They're in tank mode, most likely, those two teams. Definitely San Antonio. That might be a bet right there. I could see. I think San Antonio is going to have the worst record in the NBA this year. I think that is just that might not be. They might have the best odds to have the worst record in the NBA this year. But I think it's a lock. I think San Antonio definitely is the worst roster in the NBA. I think they have the least incentive to win. And you go back and look, San Antonio always tanks at the right times. They tanked in the David Robinson draft. They tanked in the Tim Duncan draft. Those two drafts alone made their franchise his entire history. Now, if they tanked for Victor Wembanyama, who everyone is calling the best prospect of all time almost, coming into the draft, then they're timing it perfectly again. I could see San Antonio getting Wembanyama. What are you guys' hot takes? We got some people in the chat here. I appreciate you guys joining me. We got the diehard MHT train in the chat. I appreciate you guys joining me really quickly. Like I said, we're not going to be live for too much longer here. We're just going to get a video out here, get our thoughts on the NBA season out into a video. And we will be doing a full Knicks video, not live, recorded, edited, all that stuff before opening night. So stay tuned for that. And again, we will be live again for Giants tomorrow. And I know that's the main attraction. Everybody's ready for Giants-Ravens tomorrow. But moving on. Southwest Division. Yeah, I mean, if you could find odds on the Spurs to be the worst team in the league, I would look at that. The New Orleans Pelicans are plus 400 to win the Southwest. Charlotte, worst team in the league. See, everyone's saying that, Tom. Everyone's saying that. Let's look really quickly at what Charlotte did this offseason. Obviously, I know Miles Bridges' tough situation, right? Nothing they could personally do about that. He's just a bad guy. So they have LaMelo Ball, James Bouknight, Gordon Hayward, Kai Jones, Cody Martin, Jalen McDaniels, Kelly Oubre, Mason Plumlee, Nick Richards, Terry Rozier, JT Thor, and PJ Washington. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good team, but is it worst in the league team? Like, let's look at San Antonio's roster really quickly. Unless I'm missing somebody on the Spurs. Let's see. I mean, the Spurs stink. The Spurs stink, Tom. LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington are better than anything the Spurs have, unfortunately, for Spurs fans. But I don't feel bad for Spurs fans. You guys have won a ton. Yeah, I mean, listen to the Spurs roster, though. It's like Zach Collins, Keldon Johnson, Romeo Langford, Doug McDermott, Jakob Poeltl, Josh Primo, Josh Richardson, Devin Vassell, Joe Wieskamp, Keita Bates-Diop, and Trey Jones. And they brought in Gorgie Dieng. And they drafted Jeremy Sohan and Blake Wesley. So listen to that Spurs roster and tell me that's not the worst roster in the NBA. That's the worst roster in the NBA and not even close. I do like Jeremy Sohan and I do like Blake Wesley. I like some of their draft picks, like some of their young guys, but those are like young guys that you hope turn out into something. All right. Who do I think wins the Southwest Division? Everyone's on Memphis. Dallas is right there. New Orleans is everyone's like hot team to maybe make like the 6th seed or something like that in the West. I'm not touching Dallas. Now, if we look at Luca's MVP odds, I believe he's the betting favorite at he is at plus 450. I'm not touching Luca to win the MVP anymore. I'm not touching it. I don't think Dallas is good enough for Luca to be the front runner for MVP. He's going to have to put up astronomically better numbers than everybody else in the league. Will he put up better numbers than everyone in the league? I have no doubt that he can do that, but he's going to have to really just be on it all season long, and the Mavs are going to have to be better than what people expect. The Mavs lost Jalen Brunson. They did add Christian Wood. Let's see. The Mavs have brought in Christian Wood and JaVale McGee, essentially. Oh, excuse me. The Mavs have brought in JaVale McGee and Christian Wood, and they have let go basically Jalen Brunson, Boban, and Trey Burke. So the Mavs really marginally have gotten better. It depends on what you think of Christian Wood. I haven't seen Christian Wood play in any meaningful NBA games yet, so I'm not anointing him as like a difference maker yet. He could be a good stats, bad team guy, Christian Wood. But my best bet in this division is going to be tough. This is tough. I'm going with the Pelicans to make top 6 in the West. I think the Pelicans roster, the healthy Zion. We all saw Zion skinny and looking good. I think that's the play here. You take the Pelicans to make the playoffs in the top 6, no play-in, and that's what we're rolling with. All right, last division is the Pacific Division, and this is the toughest division in the league by far. I mean, you could talk me into 4 teams winning this division, and I wouldn't be crazy. More or less 3. So we have Phoenix at plus 190, Golden State plus 200, the LA Clippers at plus 210, and the Lakers at plus 900. And you also have the Kings at plus 15,000 or whatever. So just looking at this really quickly, Zion post-Thanksgiving dinner is questionable. Is this true? Did Zion sprain his ankle already? Did I hear about that? That Zion sprained his ankle in preseason or something like that? Pacific Division odds. It's tough not to go with Golden State. I mean, I'm going Golden State plus 200 to win the Pacific. It's the Golden State Warriors. They get Wiseman back. They have the second best odds in the division after winning the title last year. Somehow Phoenix is favored to win the division. I guess because of their great record last year in the regular season. Give me the Phoenix Suns to win the Pacific. So really quickly, division winners recap really quickly. We're going with Philadelphia to win the Atlantic at plus 300. We're taking the Miami Heat minus 190 to win the Southeast. Milwaukee Bucks minus 250 to win the Central. Minnesota Timberwolves to win the Northwest at plus 140. That is probably our hottest pick on the card so far. Southwest Division, we will take the Dallas Mavericks to win the division, but I'm taking New Orleans Pelicans to advance into the playoffs. Find those odds somewhere. And Phoenix Suns to win the Pacific. All right. Now, very quickly, we're going to go through the awards, and then I'm probably going to tell you, I'm going to tell you who's going to win the West and the East and all that, and then we're going to get out of here. This is going to be a quick video. Last week, we did like 20 hours of content. Literally was sick of hearing myself talk. So this week, we're going to keep it short and sweet. Just get a little video, get our thoughts out into the world. And we are going to be back tomorrow for all the diehards. I know we got the diehards in the chat. The diehards in the chat at 1 o'clock tomorrow for Giants Ravens, and that's the big boy stream. Giants games, that's why we do this. So, all right, first into the MVP. Now I've given this a lot of thought, and I think there's only one play here, and you're gonna say to me, Mike, you picked the Minnesota Timberwolves to win the Northwest Division, correct? But this is what you do with futures, right? Futures is all about the value. You may get 3 wrong, but if you get that 1 right, it pays for the rest of the card. So we're going with Nikola Jokic to win the MVP again this year. Plus 1,000 for Nikola Jokic to win MVP. And I think that's just a layup. The guy won it last year. Number one, he plays more games than all these other stars listed. Luca Doncic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant. These are the top names for the MVP award. And these guys miss a lot of games. I think if Jokic and the Nuggets prove me wrong and win the Northwest in dominant fashion, then Jokic has a really good shout. Yep. I think, Tom, how do you not go for Jokic at plus 1,000 for these odds? Yeah. You got to go for him. He plays and that's the thing with the MVP award. If your team is good, obviously you got to be a supreme talent like Nikola Jokic is. But he's going to put up numbers, and he plays every single game. A lot of these other guys don't play every single game, and that's what the voters for these awards look at towards the end of the season. Oh, they're going to say, Jokic played 80 games this year while Durant played 56. Jokic is no contest the MVP. So that is my best bet for the MVP award. Sounds chalky, but it's really not. When you look at the odds, when you look at there's 4 players ahead of the 2-time defending champion for this award, I think it's great value for Jokic. All right, now Rookie of the Year. Now this is my best bet on the entire card. This is my best bet on the entire futures situation. And this is free money, and I want everyone in the chat to get down on this. I don't care if you put 5 cents down or $5,000 down responsibly, all right? Benedict Mathurin to win Rookie of the Year plus 1,100. Run to your bookie. Just run to it. All right? That's a lock. That's a W. That is going to cash. He's going to be the best player on the Indiana Pacers this year, and it's not going to be close. Okay? There is one other guy that scares me to death for this award, and that is why you always got to hedge in futures. You always got to sprinkle. You pick 2 guys you could sprinkle in a futures bet. All right? So we're sprinkling on Keegan Murray plus 550. Sprinkling. But we are throwing the hammer down on Ben Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers to win Rookie of the Year this year at plus 1,100. I think he's explosive. If you've been following me on Twitter, I wanted the Knicks to somehow get him in the draft. Obviously, he did not fall to them. But if you've been following him in preseason, he looks like the Pacers' best player. He just dominates the game when he gets in. He looks made for the NBA. So Ben Mathurin over all these other guys. Banchero is going to have to do too much on a young roster. I just think Rick Carlisle and seeing Ben Mathurin, I think he's going to realize early on that this is Mathurin's team and everyone else is just living on it. So there you go. Take that to the bank. Run with it. Ben Mathurin, best bet, best futures bet. My favorite bet that I've placed so far for the NBA season is Ben Mathurin to win Rookie of the Year. Sixth Man of the Year. All right, so I'm looking at old odds, but this went down. So he's plus 550. Who's the favorite on DraftKings, Tom? I couldn't find FanDuel odds this morning, so I'm looking at a random website, like BetMGM website. But anyway, that's my pick. Plus 550. Don't care. It's still great odds. I think it's a lock. I think he wins. Sixth Man of the Year. We touched on this earlier. Tyler Hero, plus 650. I think, as long as he's not starting for Miami, I think Tyler Hero wins this award. I think Jordan Poole has a better shout to start a lot of games for Golden State. Jordan Poole is quickly emerging as like the number 2 option in Golden State, the more you look at it. So yeah, I'm taking Tyler Hero plus 650 to repeat. A couple of repeat winners. Yeah, Paolo's plus 180. So that's what I have too here. So they just lowered Ben Mathurin a ton. But again, Rookie of the Year, I'm sprinkling on Keegan Murray. Those are the 2 guys I think have a chance at winning it. So right here, looking into the camera, Ben Mathurin or Keegan Murray will win Rookie of the Year this year. There you go. Sixth Man of the Year, Tyler Hero is my betting pick. Tough award to bet on. Probably won't touch it, to be honest with you. But if I were to pick, I'm picking Tyler Hero. Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this is interesting. Rudy Gobert is the favorite, moving to Minnesota. Do I think that Minnesota will be that good defensively, or do I think Rudy Gobert will have the impact defensively on Minnesota that he's supposed to win this award? Yes, I do actually. But do I think it will be enough for him to win this award his first year in Minnesota? Yes, I do actually. So I'm taking Rudy Gobert to win Defensive Player of the Year. Not a hot one again, but I will say the odds on this award, everything is a crapshoot. Knicks fans, Mitchell Robinson, maybe throw $1 down, see what happens. I think he works himself into the discussion this year. I think Mitchell Robinson works himself onto the podium for Defensive Player of the Year this year. That's a take, but deal with it. I think he looks like a man possessed right now. That being said, Rudy Gobert is just the safest bet for this award. I don't know anybody else. They might get exposed, Tom, with Towns running on the perimeter, but who knows? Who knows how they stagger them? I think they'll be staggering Gobert and Towns quite a bit in the regular season at least. And yeah, I mean, you have Edward. They just have too much talent. That's the thing with Minnesota. It's just like they're just too talented. Like they have 4 guys that you could put on an all-star team and nobody would bat an eye on. So I just think they have to put it together this year. And I'm also just fading. I'm fading Dallas. I just don't think Dallas, or not Dallas. What team am I fading? Blanking out here this morning. I'm fading Denver. Other than Jokic MVP odds because that's a hedge right there. Jokic can win MVP and I could lose all my other bets and they all paid for each other. So there you go. But Rudy Gobert win Defensive Player of the Year. It's just a tough award to bet on. You could go for the Giannis sweep. I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't go for Draymond Green, obviously, after what we've seen in the preseason and all the drama that's ensued from him. So, fading that as well. 2022-2023 NBA Most Improved Player. I already touched on this. I'm going in on Jalen Brunson to win this award. This is my Knicks pick. Jalen Brunson, Most Improved Player. He's got the most improved situation. He's essentially a number 1 option or maybe a number 2 option for the Knicks now after being like a 6th man, essentially, for Dallas so many years in a row. So if he comes in and averages 22 and 6 this year for the Knicks while the Knicks make the playoffs, I think he's going to have a real shot at most improved player. And I'm seeing plus 1,800 for that award for Jalen Brunson right now. So there you go. Take that for what it's worth. 2023 NBA Coach of the Year. Now this is a fun one. Steve Kerr is the betting favorite. Chris Finch is second. Taylor Jenkins is third. Ty Lue is fourth. And Monty Williams is fifth. Now, just looking at this from a narrative perspective, you can't always just pick the best. He's good at basketball, Tom, but you got for most improved, you got to look at it's good value. You got to look at the situation, the narrative. Cuz there's plenty of guys who are really good, but if they just don't if they didn't suck enough or they didn't have not that he sucked, if they didn't have a lesser situation in the year before, then it's not good. Steve Nash at 14-1, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not touching that. Give me Nick Nurse. Give me Nick Nurse to win NBA Coach of the Year. I don't have his odds in front of me. I don't see them. Give me Nick Nurse. Toronto is young, upstarting. I think the media loves Nick Nurse. And if Toronto does make themselves frisky in the Atlantic, if Toronto does finish in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference, then I think Nick Nurse might have a really good shot at winning that. And everyone loves the Raptors. Listen, I'm not that sold on them yet, but everyone loves the Raptors coming into this season. We'll see. Let me just really quickly look at what the Raptors have done. Besides just drafting players, they draft really well, obviously. All right, so they brought in Bo Cruz, Juancho, Christian Coloco, who I think was a good draft pick, Otto Porter Jr., and DJ Wilson. So they brought in nobody, and they just kept Pascal, Gary Trent, Fred Van Vliet, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby. I don't know. I'm going Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse is 18-1, Tom. That's a good bet. Give me Nick Nurse. All right, so there you have it. Really quickly, we're going to go recap the awards picks. I have Nick Nurse for Coach of the Year at 18-1. Think that's a good bet, ladies and gentlemen. Get on that. I also have Jalen Brunson to win Most Improved Player at 18-1. So this is a value. Those are two value picks right away. Then we have Rudy Gobert to just win Defensive Player every year, just because I think the voters look at advanced analytics and all that crap for Defensive Player of the Year now. And I think Rudy Gobert kind of just gets handed that award on a silver platter every single year. Sixth man, I'm going for Tyler Hero repeat. I just think the value is there for a guy who, if he is the sixth man there, he's probably going to walk away with that award with the numbers he'll put up. Rookie of the Year, I'm all in on Ben Mathurin with a light sprinkle on Keegan Murray. So get in on either of those. I think you have good value there. I think either one of them will have a shot all the way to the last week of the season to win Rookie of the Year. Moving on to MVP. I'm on Giannis. Oh, no, I'm not on Giannis. I'm on Jokic. I'm on Jokic plus 1,000 for the three-peat. Listen, the guy's won it 2 years in a row. He plays more games than all the other stars in the NBA. So if he puts up Jokic-type numbers and plays all those games, and Denver is just hovering in the top 5 in the West, I think Jokic will have a real shot at winning MVP again. So those are our awards picks, and then this is where we finish off, folks. This is the last segment of our little NBA prediction here. Knicks fans, we're doing a full Knicks breakdown. I'm going full roster breakdown, full predictions in the middle of the week. Probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days, that video will come out. But Eastern Conference winners. I mean, this is a layup for me. Tom, let me know if you're seeing any different odds here. But I have Philadelphia Sixers at plus 600 to win the Eastern Conference. I'm taking them all day long. I just think they have a great roster. They added DeAnthony Melton from the Memphis Grizzlies, which was a great addition. I think he's a really good bench piece. You have Shake Milton, George Niang, Matisse Thybulle still there. You have Korkmaz still running around. Tobias Harris is still in the roster. Obviously Harden and Embiid and Maxey. They brought in Montrezl Harrell as well, as I said, DeAnthony Melton, and they brought in P.J. Tucker. And if you know anything about the NBA, if a team brings in P.J. Tucker, instantly they become a top team in their conference right after that. They probably already had stars in place, but once P.J. Tucker hitches his trailer to your wagon, you know it's about to be a good season. So Eastern Conference best bet. I'm all in on the Sixers. I think the Sixers this is their year in my opinion. If Harden came in shape like Steve mentioned earlier and everyone is saying, I think the Philadelphia 76ers are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and especially at plus 600. I'm not touching Milwaukee. I'm not touching Boston. And I'm not touching Brooklyn as the three main favorites in terms of what Vegas is telling you in the odds situation. Just some other notes. If you want to go on just the gambling statistics or whatever standings, the order is Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, Philly. So I'm taking the fourth team, according to Vegas, to win the conference. Miami will be 5th, Cleveland 6th, Toronto 7th, Atlanta 8th, Chicago 9th, and the New York Knicks 10th. The Knicks have the same odds to win the Eastern Conference as the Charlotte Hornets, Tom. That's a team you just said is going to have the worst record in the league. 2023 Western Conference. All right, so we're all in on Philadelphia. I'm riding Philadelphia. Listen, do I hope I'm wrong? Yes, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not a Philly sports fan. I'm a New York sports fan. I'm a Knicks fan. If Philly is really good, there's a good chance they're beating the hell out of the Knicks and they're 25 games up in the division. So I don't want to see that. But as a betting man, my brain is telling me Philly's here. Tyrese Maxey is going. That's another thing. If you could somehow find a book that will let you bet on who's going to make the All-Star team, I think Tyrese Maxey to make the All-Star team is a good bet. I think this is his year. 2023 Western Conference odds. So this is interesting. The Los Angeles Clippers are Vegas' second favorite to win the West. And obviously you get Kawhi Leonard back. You get a full season of Paul George. Let's just look at really quickly. Let me refresh my memory on what else the Clippers have rocking besides those two guys. So they got Covington, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Norman Powell, who I like. They lost my guy Isaiah Hartenstein to the Knicks and Rodney Hood. I'm not in on the Clippers, especially Kawhi coming off an injury. I just don't think it's wise to just jump all in on the Clippers winning the West. They could have a nice season, but will they win the West? I don't think so. This is tricky. Tricky. Well, I think it really depends on who you like more, Golden State or Phoenix. And I'm just gonna ride with Golden State. This is chalky. So if you're looking at me right here, I would have a Golden State Philly finals. I don't think it's very Mikey hot takes us right there, but that's the way the NBA is. You know, there's usually only about 3 or 4 teams that have a realistic chance of winning the title. Brooklyn Net fans, I tried to say your name as little as possible. I think that's a win-win for me and for you. So I did not mention them. But hey, would I be shocked if everything turned around for the Nets? Yes, I would. Okay, you guys are finished. You're disarray. Somebody will get traded in like 2 weeks or want to get traded from the Nets. So enough with them. All right, there you go. So that is our full recap. Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers. Those are my picks to win respective conferences. I want to thank Tom, McCreary, Jack, all you guys, James, all you guys for popping in for a second. We just wanted to get a quick NBA video out there. Little live stream. Didn't expect a lot of engagement today, but you people who did pop in, I really do appreciate it. Tom says really quickly, Knicks will be in play, but both teams got no shot at winning the conference. Clippers if they stay healthy, Warriors number 1 if not. Steve, how are the Clippers going to just come back and win the West? I just don't get that. I just don't see that yet. I love Kawhi. I love Paul George. I just don't think that they're just that. The Phoenix Suns are a well-oiled machine, and the Golden State Warriors are a well-oiled machine. The Clippers are kind of just so reliant on Kawhi and Paul George to always be playing and always be healthy and playing at elite level. So I don't know. I don't like the Clippers to win the West. I do think they'll obviously make the playoffs, and who knows what can happen from there. It's a long way out. But that's why we do these predictions. We have it on wax. All of Hot Takes' NBA predictions are on camera, filmed. I appreciate you guys for joining me this morning. It's a great day. It's a Saturday. Tons of great college football on today, tons. Today is an elite college football day, so if you love college football, make sure you check out all the games today. Tennessee, Alabama, I believe, is game of the day. Michigan has a good game as well against Penn State. So all that stuff is coming up in 5-10 minutes. I want everyone to enjoy their Saturday. And then tomorrow, do I think Draymond gets moved? I don't know. It's tough. Who really wants Draymond, though? Like, who really wants Draymond on their team? He's going to come to the team and just kind of be like, think he's the coach on whatever team he comes to. I think Steve Kerr is the only person that could really even pretend to manage Draymond. I think that's like the only coach in the league that can even pretend to get along with him. So I don't think Draymond gets moved. If anything, yeah, like I think they're just going to work through it and play through it, and Steph Curry is just going to make everything work, and Steve Kerr is going to make everything work. All right, enjoy your college football Saturday, 1 o'clock. I know we got some hot takes, diehards. I hope to see you guys back tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Giants-Ravens. I want to break the stream record tomorrow, all right? This was a little video. This is more of a VOD video. This is a video for people to go back, look at, go back and say, what did he think was going to happen here? What did he think was going to happen there? But tomorrow is a live stream. If the Giants go 5-1, you know I'm going crazy. You know I'm going crazy. You know I'm going out of this world. So stay tuned. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Giants stream. We also will be dropping a Knicks exclusive recorded video at some point this week. I do not want to lock in a time because I do have to sit down and edit that. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you send this. Do me a favor, guys. You guys are the diehards. I hate to ask you to do too much because you're already so helpful and supportive and jumping in the chat all the time. Send it to a friend, all right? Force one of your friends to hit subscribe and like. It won't take any time out of their day. They'll live. They'll be all right. I don't care if you got to go get your dad, your mom, your uncle, your aunts, your cousins, whatever, your girlfriend's sisters. Just get them to like, subscribe as we continue to grow the channel. And the more engagement I get, the more videos and more content I will want to produce. So it just works that way. I appreciate you guys joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and let's go. Let's go Knicks. Enjoy the NBA season. Let's go.